Gemini, spell casting is in your future for November. Let's have an aligned astro chat about it. Hello all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your Transformational Tarot for November. Geminis. Mr. Neo is coming to say hello. He insists upon being connected to your journey today. So, getting a lot of energy for you guys in November around your words really carrying weight, words mattering, really connecting to, I want to say, the intention. What is the intention? Why are you saying what you're saying? Why are you speaking what you're saying? Why are you saying it to that particular person? When you understand very clearly your why, I feel that the spell casting then can commence and you're able to manifest the things that are important. So with that, we are going to be pulling cards for you today from the She's Wilderness Tarot, and this is by XCat. And then we are pulling an overarching theme for you from the Divine Feather Messengers Messenger deck by Alison DeNicola and David Shearer. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so we are going to be pulling an overarching theme for you guys today, and these cards have really been speaking to the other signs that I've been doing the readings for, and so I'm really excited to see what's coming up for you in this capacity and in this regard. First of all, I love the yellow. The yellow is the solar plexus chakra. So this is our identity, mastery, personal power, co-creation, transformation, boundaries, boundary energy. And it's like a canary or something. Let's see. Yeah, canary. Awesome. Step forward now and sing your song. There is power in finding your voice. Okay, you can't make this shit up. That's exactly what I said to you. Spell casting, being very intentional about the words that you're using, the way you're communicating it, using your voice, because as you're singing your song, you are spell casting. You are telling the universe the experiences that you wish to have. And I don't know why, but astrologically, I feel like things are kind of landing in your chart or landing in your house in such a way that this is a magical, potent time for you. So what you think, you are going to become. What you think, you are going to create and manifest. So it's extra important for you to be connected in that way. And with that solar plexus chakra energy, I feel like it's, again, know your why. Understand who you are and why you are saying and doing and requesting and spell casting the things that you are, because I do feel a great deal of service. Being in service this month is going to be kind of a focal point for you. And you just really want to know your why. You want to be connected to that. So all of it makes sense and you don't feel so burned out or taken advantage of. That's interesting. Okay, where are you right now in this present transformational journey? What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? Oh, I love it. The Empress. So you are in a receptive mode, but I also want to say to you guys, I feel like you're actually pretty exhausted, pretty sapped out. Like the analogy that I use a lot or have used a lot lately, I feel is apropos here. Empaths are sponges. So whether you identify as an empath or not, this is still going to apply. But like empaths are sponges. And if we don't wring ourselves out, we don't twist the sponge and get rid of the water, the gunk, the energy that isn't ours, all the things and the stuff that we collect throughout the day, the sponge gets oversaturated and eventually can't take anything more in. It can't receive anything in. And we've been in an energy kind of collectively where empaths in particular, when they wring out their sponges, it's like wringing your sponge out under the ocean. So you wring it out, you twist it, you get all that stuff out. And as soon as you start to untwist the sponge, it fills right back up. And it's automatically oversaturated again. I feel like this is describing kind of where you guys are at, Gemini, where there's an oversaturation of things, where it is important that you pay attention to your sponge. What can you take in and what can't you take in? I'm hearing a lot of messaging around self-care here. If you aren't caring for self, then the spell casting is going to create subconsciously or otherwise situations where you are forced to self-care, causing illness, causing injury, having to be off your feet for 3 days or 4 days, or in bed with a cold for a week because you're not consciously giving yourself that space or practicing the self-care on a daily basis. The universe is going to do it for you. So I would say to you right now, what part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? I feel like for you, there's a dissolving that's happening, a dissolving of this idea that you need to be in service 24/7 to everyone. Maybe coming in a little bit more, doing a little bit more of a recharge energy, putting a little more focus on self-care, because you are extremely receptive. You are picking up on things that maybe aren't yours to pick up on. And I'm going to say you're going to pick up on things that you're maybe supposed to pick up on, but not necessarily pick it up and keep it, right? You can tap into it. And then when you've finished tapping into it, you've gotten what you needed from it, out the door it goes. It's no longer in your energy. You don't have to carry it with you. It's so funny. They're showing me the imagery of my ex-husband and I. We always play this game called Divinity. It's really a lot of fun. We play on the PlayStation or whatever it is. Anyway, I am not a person in real life that is like a looter. Like I'm not a thrifter. I don't like, my house, like I don't like to have a ton of knickknacks and things. I have my certain things that I get obsessed about and collections or whatever, but like everything has its place and I don't want clutter. But when I play this divinity game, I'm the one who wants to loot everything. Like I'm the one with the extra loot bags and I want to go and pick up everything, even that, little broken cup that we can, transmogrify into something else. I feel like this is kind of the energy for you guys, Gemini, is like don't be the looter. Don't feel like you've got to pick up all the loot right now. In fact, this is about, keeping the loot out, that you're not the one that's going to do the looting. There's someone else on your team that can do that for you. And you can just go to them when you need a resource or something in that regard, but you want to be unfettered. You want to be able to walk around free. You don't want to have to carry the bag around. So that feels really important to kind of where you're at right now. What's the catalyst for you here? What's fueling or hindering your transformation? And is this resistance or rocket fuel? Interesting. Wow, there's like a sense of, like, this is a legacy card. I feel like for a lot of you, there's a reflection on like the legacy you're leaving behind. There's some reflection around your role within your family. Like, is my family proud of me? Would my family be proud of me? Would my ancestors be proud of me? I feel like there's a lot of reflection going on here around how you wish others to see you in terms of your contribution. And when we talk about legacy energy, I always, kind of say, we think legacy, it's like what I leave behind after I die. But I want to say to you, we live in the present, we live in the now, and now is all we have. So it's about a living legacy. When you're walking your legacy, you can take advantage of the legacy that you are leaving behind as well. Not only are you're leaving it, you're creating it, but because of that, you're a part of it. So you're living your legacy as you're creating your legacy. And I feel like there's some fear around this. You're worried that you're not doing enough, or you're worried that somehow the path that you've chosen is not, what others need it to be. And again, I go back to the sponge. Twist that sponge out. Don't take that stuff in. Understand that our angels and guides and our loved ones who have passed on, they don't see it in the ways that we see it here. They just want you to be happy. they're proud of everything that you do because they understand on the other side, they've gone through their life review. They understand the purpose of all of it. And so they're coming at it now from that more spiritual perspective rather than the more human perspective. We, as humans, there are certain things that we place an importance on that the spirit world just doesn't have any connection to. Like they just don't care because they're not, ensconced in the physical anymore. It becomes a different aspect of the soul journey. So I feel like with this 10 of Pentacles here being the catalyst, I feel like it's an invitation for you to release this idea that you need to be doing things to please others and to step more into the understanding of I am my walking and living legacy. I am experiencing it as I'm creating it. So let's make sure that I'm enjoying it. Interesting. I did say that there was going to be a lot around service. And what I get around that is the catalyst is like bringing more of yourself into the mix, like allowing you to benefit from your service before anyone else benefits from your service, because that's where the alignment is going to present itself. It's going to make itself known. Interesting. What's the deep root? What deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? Okay, there's one that my finger is touching there. That's the one. Knight of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay, so definitely a lot of like earth energy. You have the Empress here. We start off with the Empress, Big Bang. Now we have 10 of Pentacles, and now we're dealing with the Knight of Pentacles. So when we're talking about deep root, I want to say with this coming up, it's almost like you're afraid that it's not enough, but there's also this part of you that is afraid, like you take your time because you're afraid that you might miss something. You might miss a step. You might forget to water that one flower. And I feel like a lot of this, not mental anguish, but like a lot of mental reflecting. Maybe for some of you, it's rumination or obsessing on certain things, this idea that you are missing something. And it's not that you're missing out on something. It's not FOMO. It's more that, oh my God, I'm missing the mark somehow. I'm missing out on the lesson that I'm supposed to be learning, or my soul is not happy. And I want to say to your soul is very happy. Your soul is here to have the experience. They don't judge the experience. It's the experience. Your soul is happy. You're feeling restless because I feel like you want to actually be able to move a little further ahead, but you've always kind of programmed yourself to take your time, to slow things down. But that speed is no longer serving you. And I'm not saying this like across the board. I feel like this is in particular areas of your life. And obviously this is a general Gemini reading. So, take what resonates with you, leave the rest behind. But I definitely feel here like the invitation that's coming up is you absolutely can move faster. And you absolutely are, like, everything that you're doing matters and makes a difference and is absolutely okay. This is about rewriting the story for yourself. Knights are about the quest. And I feel like with this Knight of Pentacles energy, it's a quest in terms of what you're physically, tangibly leaving behind. This is kind of an invitation for you to say it doesn't have to be a specific thing or in a specific way or in a specific pattern. I almost want to say this is kind of like throw caution to the wind, get on the horse and go ride. Like just ride, wind in the hair, not a trot, like a full out, like let that horse run. And all you have to do is hang on to the reins and feel the wind in your face, the wind in your hair, the sun on your face. Like, well, it goes beyond letting go of control. It feels a little bit more like receiving some of that abandon, because that abandon is going to infuse you with inspiration. It's going to shake up the energy, and it's going to, here we have these mushrooms. We have mushrooms and flowers. Mushrooms grow out of fertilizer, right? It grows out of the poop. You're always focused on like, how much am I, dealing with my own poop. Like, am I looking at myself enough? Am I doing all the right things and the stuff? I want to say, give yourself a little bit of a break. This is about movement forward. So doing things a little bit differently, and not like you're going to avoid looking at the part that you play, the poop, right? It's not that, but I feel like that's kind of getting in your way now. Like, it's time to get on the horse. You don't have to walk through the garden and see the fertilizer and all the things and stuff. Get on the horse and go. And just maybe even allow the horse to take you, because the horse is spirit. Horse is source energy. Allow spirit to guide you. I feel like you guys have been feeling the calling for a while. And you are feeling it from the perspective of, I'm not doing enough. But I feel like it's source saying, no, it's not that you're not doing enough. It's that there's more for you to experience. And you're hung up on trying to finish this over here. But actually, there's more for you over here that's going to be even more enjoyable, more for you. I feel like that's important. What's dying away? What part of you is falling away? What role, pattern, or identity has run its course? That constant reflection, evaluation, Gemini's, like, I know it's a stereotypical thing to talk about the twins, and obviously Two of Cups, it's not even your card, but like this, like the two aspects of your personality, right? Or the multiple aspects of your personality. This definitely feels like you reflecting on yourself. You always looking within, you always trying to figure out what part you're playing, you always trying to figure out how you can do things better. And you do this before you actually look outside of yourself. You're doing this within. Sometimes that can be draining. That drains the cup rather than fills the cup. So I'm feeling like what's kind of dying away now is this constant need to be looking at what's wrong with me and to step a little bit more now. Like I said, get on the horse, go for the ride, because then you're going to start to feel things. Cups energy is our feelings, our emotions, the ocean of emotion. It's also the psychic realm. And if we are so caught up in thinking about things, then we lose sight of what we're actually feeling and what those feelings are trying to tell us, what those feelings are trying to open us to. There's definitely a new beginning. There's a partnership here that I feel is here, whether it's a partnership with self and source, or whether this is the opportunity to create a deeper partnership with someone else, whether that's a romantic partnership or a friendship or a business partnership, whatever it happens to be. I'm tending to feel that this is a little more internal for the majority of you. But I feel like that's what's dying away. What's dying away is the constant self-evaluation to the point of it working against you rather than working for you. So you're letting it go a little bit. And I mean, it's going to come back. It's going to show up in the ways that it needs to, but you don't have to put so much intention behind it. Because again, you are in that process of like manifesting, right? So pay attention to what you're manifesting right now, because you're always in that self-evaluation. You're manifesting more reasons to have to self-evaluate. And I feel like that is what is dying away. You're going to get a little more intentional and connected about the things that you are manifesting. What is your highest Phoenix potential? What can rise from the ashes? What is your soul calling you toward? This is your breakthrough energy. Oh, beautiful. Page of Swords. Yes. A new thought and like planning that out. Like Ace is there. Ace gives you the inspiration, and the page comes in and says, ooh, I love this inspiration. Let me kind of let me do a little research. Let me kind of set up a little bit of a plan to see what happens. And then the Two of Cups comes in, where you start to enact the plan. So I feel like this Page of Swords energy is showing up as the potential, because it's going to be a new approach. And I feel like that's exactly what November is bringing. Like, you're desperately craving a new approach. Everything's been too grounded, too settled, too predictable, too like old news. And I feel like Page of Swords is coming through to say, okay, we're going to shift things up, but we're shifting it up in a way that is going to be very pleasant for you, in a way that you are seeking out, bringing in that. Again, we talk about like your contribution and the legacy that you're leaving. This is about the legacy you want to leave, not the legacy you think you need to leave, the legacy that maybe you've been influenced to leave behind as a result of, your upbringing, the people around you, current circumstances. This is about what is the legacy that I want to leave behind. And Page of Swords is very sharp-witted about this. Page of Swords gets the inspiration and then really goes right into it and gives it a lot of thought. This is a brilliant card energy for you, Geminis, because you are air signs, right? So that Page of Swords energy, swords is your suit. That's the energy of communication. But I feel like this is communication with self first. And it's not in this way. It's not in evaluation. It's in planning. What do I want to feel? What do I want to experience? I know I'm going to leave a great legacy behind. I don't need to worry about that. Let me make sure that I'm first and foremost feeling fulfilled in that I'm understanding it, that I'm able to walk barefoot and be grounded while I'm also in motion. I don't have to be stuck to feel grounded. I can be grounded and be in motion. I can move forward, and I'm excited about what that's going to bring. I like that. What's emerging just around the corner for you? What energy or experience is coming in to support this next phase? Four of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay. So, as with all journeys that we take, there are sometimes, bumps in the road, or there are times when we're moving really fast and then you hit a little bit of a traffic jam, right? I'm picturing myself on a highway journey. I drive super fast, so it drives me nuts. It's one of my pet peeves is people driving slow in the fast lane. Like, it's not personal. Just get the fark out of the way and, let the people who want to go fast, go fast. But I digress. I'm saying to you that this is kind of what I'm seeing on the highways. You have a stretch of time where you're able, to just let loose and, do 80 or 90 miles an hour on the road. And then you run into like a little traffic spot where you're coming into, something that's closer to a big city or a big town. And suddenly now there's a little more traffic. It's a little more congested. I'm feeling like that's what this Four of Pentacles is suggesting here, is you're trying to make a shift. You're working towards making a shift into, your home element, something new, something vibrant. And the Pentacle energy, I want to say for you right now at this time, it feels heavier. It feels weighted. It feels like it's kind of keeping you stuck, is kind of getting in the way. And of course, we're seeing the mushrooms again. So this feels like 3 steps forward, 1 step back. And I feel like what's emerging is you understanding and recognizing the part that you're playing and allowing that to happen. Because I feel like for the majority of you, this is a person. Whenever you start to move forward, to advance for yourself, there's a person that comes in. It's almost like they've got their own sixth sense about the fact that you might be moving on or creating a different schedule, and maybe they, like having access to you and things of that nature. For a small portion of you, it's not a person, it's maybe the job that calls you in, just when you finally have a day off, you're on call or whatever, you have a day off, they're not supposed to bug you, but they do. Well, the part that you play in that is that you're picking up the phone. You're answering the phone. So I feel like this Four of Pentacles is an invitation to evaluate different boundaries that you are maybe not enforcing in relation to how you are making these shifts and these changes. These are hiccups. They're tiny bumps in the road. They're not potholes. So I feel like it's important for you to understand that. But it's showing up because you need to see where you might be getting in your own way, where, this is comfort. So it draws you back in. But this part is not going to feel comfortable because you're going to witness it and you're going to be like, I set aside this whole day. I told everybody that this was the thing I was going to do. And what happened first thing in the morning? Sure as shit, someone reaches out and there's a problem that only I can solve. And so what do I do with that? I'm going to put aside my needs and I'm going to go and go down the rabbit hole with this and then feel resentful afterwards that I wasn't able to get the things done that I needed to get done? Or am I going to say right now, not my circus, not my monkeys, I'll get to it when I get to it? Big lessons in that are coming up for you. Interesting. All right. Your role in this process. How are you navigating this transformation? Are you resisting, flowing grieving, or boldly rising? Oh my God, another pentacle. Oh, Geminis. Okay. So there's definitely some resistance that's going on here. But I want to say your role in this shift, the Two of Pentacles, it really is about you recognizing after this Four of Pentacles shows up, you recognize very clearly, I really need to bring a little more balance into my life and into my space, and only I can choose that balance. And she's got all of these beautiful peace doves around her. So she has source energy helping her. She has spirit speaking to her and supporting her in doing what she needs to do. What I really like here is that she's sitting and holding these pentacles. She's not standing. She's not balancing precariously on one foot. Yes, she's on a high, sort of a tree house. She's on a high ledge, but she's secure on that. She's not going to fall off that ledge necessarily. She's really at a choice point, and I feel like those peace doves are calling her to explore what would give her freedom. Do you need both of them? Maybe you can put one down and use the other one right now. Maybe you can balance them differently. Whatever this is, I feel like this is you. Well, I'm going to say this is you boldly rising, especially because the Four of Pentacles showed you where you might not be supporting yourself in the ways that you need to. And this comes through then to recognize it and then to make some different choices around it. What really needs to be my focus? What's my circus and monkeys and what's not my circus and monkeys? And again, I'm going to say, I say this a lot all the time, a crisis on your part does not necessarily constitute a crisis on mine. So this is about you giving yourself permission to identify what those priorities need to be for you specifically. Interesting. Your circles of support. Who or what is influencing your transformation right now? And is it positive or negative? Interesting. Gemini, you are caught up in a web. I'm hearing someone else's web, or a web that has been in existence for a long time. And maybe this month you are seeing it for what it has always been. It's almost like an aha moment, a moment of clarity. And when you recognize that you're caught up in the web, now there's a strong response, a strong need to cut yourself from the web, to pry yourself from the web. Maybe in some cases to actually tear the web apart in order to get out. Not to say that you're all destroyers, but I want to say the web feels unhealthy. The web feels like the intention of the web is to ensnare you. It's the food for the spider. Sometimes a web is there just to be a home for the spider. But this has ensnared you. And so I'm definitely feeling when we talk about circles of support, I want to say to you, this is really actually about breaking out of a circle of support that has been, from an illusory perspective, supporting you. But I want to say in, the most recent months, perhaps has not been all that it was cracked up to be. You're moving on to bigger pastures, cleaner shores, and not saying that you have to let go of everything that you've, always known or cut people out of your life. If that resonates with you, by all means, lean into that. But I am seeing that you're seeing patterns and cycles now that you can't unsee. And you're seeing that in your circles of support. So I definitely feel, we talked about that canary. Step forward now and sing your song. There is power in finding your voice. You are manifesting. And we can't necessarily manifest purely if we are caught up in other people's energy, in other people's webs, especially if we are empathic, because where do you end and another person begins? And if you are ensnared in a circle of support that now suddenly isn't all that supportive, that's the energy that you are surrounded by and that you're going to be working within when you're manifesting, which means that your manifestation isn't going to be pure and it's going to be convoluted and connected to other people's motives. And if you're addressing the way that you're in service, you need to be at the forefront of that service. And being in someone else's web or a group's web that is not conducive to the one or the individual, then you're going to run into some problems. So a little bit of reinventing the wheel here. But I feel like that's happening on purpose. Like it's meant to happen. It's the right time. And you're going to be given what you need to work that through. This is, what are you dreaming of becoming? What scares you about actually doing it? Interesting. Second seven. Second seven in a row, I think. Yep. Second seven in a row. So this is a card of integrity. It's also a card of strategy. I feel like there's some strategy here, but I feel like this is a card of integrity. This is a card where you recognize where people have not been honest with you. They've not been communicating the truth to you. They've not even been truthful with themselves. They're taking something that you need that would make it a lot easier to resolve a situation. And they're doing it without asking. So I feel like when we talk about what you're dreaming of becoming and what scares you about actually doing it, I feel like you dream of the day when you no longer have to call out people who behave in this manner. You dream of the day when you no longer have people like this in your life. I'm going to say to you right now, that's really not what life is about. Life is, you're always going to have challengers in your life because you're here to learn and grow, but you're also here as a teacher to help others learn and grow. But maybe you can start putting boundaries around how many of these relationships you have in your life and what areas of your life you have those relationships. Nobody needs a dishonest friend. Nobody needs a dishonest partner. People can lie to themselves and still be, I want to say, like, working on a path of truth, being honest about the fact that they don't know if they're being honest with themselves, right? Then you've got other people who just, period, end of story, aren't being honest. And if you're not being honest with yourself, how can you be honest with others? And I feel like this is the crux of this. It is a hope and a fear because you're afraid that, like, oh my God, I'm seeing this in so many areas of my life. Like, am I going to have to cut everyone out? Am I going to have to cut everything out? And I'm going to say to you, one step at a time. No, you don't have to cut everything out. The fact that you're observing it is really important because as soon as you observe it, you're going to process that and feel that in a way. And if you really step into the feeling, not the thinking, but the feeling part of it, you're going to have a real clear direction on what you need to do in that particular relationship or that particular situation or circumstance. And sometimes it's just having to call it out and standing firm in what you know to be truth. I don't know. I feel like you are finding your voice, and you finding your voice might piss some people off, but that's not your problem. You have to say what you need to say, because when you release it, now suddenly there's a clear path for where you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to be heading forward. And again, this is about putting you first in your own life and in your own ways of serving. You can't do that if you're constantly putting up with people's bad behavior. I don't know any other way to say that. So I hope that makes some sense. Okay, we are at your outcome. If you stay on course, who will you be on the other side of this November journey? What is the result of embracing the full cycle of death and rebirth? Oh, beautiful. Support and grace. Oh my God. Okay. So this is such a gentle, loving card. It's moving on to calmer shores. It's spirit, it's source energy saying, I got you. You've done a lot of work on the journey. You're tired. Um, just get in the boat. And I know you wanted to rent the boat and you were going to paddle yourself, to the calmer shore. But I can see that you're really tired, and I'm going to do you one better. And I'm going to go with you. I'm going to paddle the boat for you, and I'm going to even show you some beautiful things, point out some beautiful things to you that you may not otherwise know to look for. Just relax. We've got it all covered. I really believe that November is bringing that to you because you are in a space of breaking out of the standard, the heavy, the overly grounded, the sunken in, and you're moving into more of your own space, that air energy, right? We've had a lot of sword energy coming through, and we've had some wand energy coming through. So it's time for the new, it's time for the fresh. And yes, you can be tired, but you also have support. And I feel like you're going to be seeking support in some new places. And you're going to be finding adequate support, exceptional support in new places. So don't be afraid to open yourself to new avenues. Don't be afraid to let people in to what is going on in your internal workings, because there are people who will understand, and there are people who are going to, I feel like they're in your divine blueprint. You're supposed to move forward in this way. They're supposed to be in your life in this way right now. Wow. Okay, Gemini. So that is your transformational tarot for November. It's going to be a doozy. It's going to be, but in a good way, I actually really love this for you. And I love that this is all going to be basically completed by the end of November, that you're moving on to those calmer shores and that you are so deeply supported. I love that for you. If I can be of service in any way to help you through this, you know where I'm at. Click on the link below to book a session. Would love to connect with you. Otherwise, until we see you guys on the flip side, transform well.